back from our breaks. Yeah, I see thumbs up coming up. Wonderful to see that. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. So now that, of course, people would keep coming, hopefully are already here rather, and are all set for the next uh, uh, part of our session today. And that is the part where we go back to Tralaland. And with that, I hand it over to Kofi to take us through the to today's part of the case study and the discussions on that. Over to you, Kofi.
Great. Thank you, Manoj, and welcome everybody. Um, this is the second part of the Trialland case. There are four parts. We've done the first. This is the second part, and this part talks about a mobile insurance product that is going to be introduced on the Trialland insurance market. Um, I'm sure you have read and have done some initial work on it in the self-paced sessions. And so I do hope that this will just be a continuation and a logical follow-up, and that the discussions will go well. Um, so we know about Trialland from the last case. We have already read about the background of the country and island, the economic infrastructure, the regulatory regime, the micro insurance regime, the mobile network operators and the issues with it, the issues of awareness and inclusivity and a lot. We have all the background information. So we learned that there were about 20 something insurance companies, but we were given the profiles of three of them. Um, of course, there was the largest one, there was a middle one, and then there was a very small one. So this mobile insurance product, which mainly sells family security and family security plan, is is a collaboration between Friendly Life, which is the very small insurance company that we read about, and Charatel, which is the telco in Thailand. If you just go back, you would realize that this Friendly Life is struggling to meet the new risk-based capital requirement in Thailand and has been given some transitionary arrangement or relief to meet it. And so you have to bear that in mind. It's a very small life company. And so bear that in mind. And this is a collaboration with Taratel. We are giving some, there are three documents that I hope you have read, three documents that give some detailed information on the product that we are talking about. So the first one talks about the product profile as a hospital cash and a funeral benefit product in one. And so there's the product profile, which I hope we have read. The second one talks about is a letter actually from the CEO of Friendly Life to Trawatel, discussing or giving information on how this product is going to work in the arrangement between the two companies. And of course, the third one is a briefing note from the actuary of Friendly Life, giving actuarial information on the experience and assumptions that have been used to develop the product and a few other issues that should be of interest to you as the regulator. Remember, you are in the position of the regulator now. And so that is a little background to the product, which is in the bigger context of Trialland. So who is eligible for the product? The information tells us that all Triland mobile customers and families are eligible. But going into the product and the details, you need to assess the extent of this eligibility and any challenges that you may see, which is part of the issue that we will be discussing. Again, we learn or inform that contact is via text messages to those whom the Triatel identify as likely to increase their airtime balances. And so, so Triatel approaches the potential consumers, and that is their main criteria for doing that. Those who are likely have the tendency to increase their airtime balances. Now, if the offer is accepted, there is a payment of 25. I don't know whether it's dollar, is whatever, but the currency unit, 25 of it. And then with that, the customer or the consumer gets the remainder of a cover for the remainder of the month in which it's paid and the full of the following month. So, for example, today is 21st November. If somebody paid 25 Thailand dollars, the person will get cover for the rest of November and full cover for December. And then subsequently, they will pay 5 Thailand dollars per month subsequently. That is how the product works. Now, reading the actuarial briefing and the note, the premium can be adjusted based on the experience under the plan. That's something that the actuary also mentioned. And so the coverage, as I have said, is a benefit of 1,000 Thailand dollars for each night spent in hospital, and up to a maximum of 6,000. And then in the event of death of an eligible adult family member, the claim amount is 2,000 Thailand dollars, which is payable as a lump sum. So there are two covers. The first one is a hospital cash, which is paid if an insured spends is admitted in a hospital. Every night that you spend there, you get 1,000, but a maximum of 6,000. And then in the case of death, it is 2,000 lump sum. So those are the two main covers. Reading the document and then pieces, it gives details on this product and the issues will be there for us to discuss. But first of all, let's take a poll and see. So this is a product that has been proposed, and it's a collaboration between a telco and Friendly Life and all the information with all the background. Now, the question we need to answer now is, companies required to obtain your supervisory authority's approval for new products? It's a simple yes or no. Let's see. New product required to obtain approval from your supervisory agency. So let's take that. That should take us less than 3 minutes to do. Let's take that poll and quickly come back to see what it is we have. I have only one response so far. I can see only one response. Let's all take it. It's just, please. You can go to the chat. The poll has been put there, so you can go there and do it. Okay. Monica, so from the chat, I see only one vote. I don't know the main poll. Most of the
No. So go ahead, Monica.
Oh yeah, I'm saying we still have responses coming in. We so far have 8 responses, and all of them are saying yes.
Okay.
I can just see in the comment Namibia said no. And we have people who are having issues with seeing the screen. But for those who can vote, please let us vote. 8 is a small number. If you can vote, please let's vote. Thank you. Moses has said yes. So far, I would say, Kofi, we have 9 yeses and just 1 no from Namibia.
Okay. That's very interesting. So 8 yeses, just 1. So let's go on to the next question. Do you think that reviewing and approving new policy wording is good use of supervisory resource? Let's take that on the heels of that one, and then we'll have a brief discussion. Let's take this one too and see. Reviewing, approving new policy wordings, a good use of supervisory resource.
So far, we have 7 responses, 5 yeses, and 2 nos.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Can we have, maybe 2 yeses and 2 nos to share with us the reason? So those of you, 8 of you say yes. Can just 2 of you tell us your reason for no, for yes, and then the 2 who said no, can you share your reason?
So those of you who, of the participants who think that reviewing and approving policy wording is a good use of supervisory resources, please raise your hands and please share your thoughts on this. Yes, Chimuka, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I say yes, it's good use of supervisory resources because, the policy wordings, they have the terms and conditions which bind the policyholder at the time they commence their insurance policies. Now, if there are any issues which disadvantage the policyholders or which put the policyholder at risk, the regulator or the supervisory authority has the duty to identify those and have them corrected before that product is rolled out for distribution. Otherwise, if they were just to be allowed to just go, they will just put all sorts of conditions which will prevent them from paying claims and also just give them an advantage in the whole insurance contract.
Okay.
Insightful. And the second person,
Chimuka,
share your thoughts as well.
Okay.
Sorry, is that me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, okay, so thank you very much. I was actually hoping that we could have a response that is neither yes or no or torn in between, because just like Chimuka said, consumer protection remains paramount. But then I think, having read the modules, I'm beginning to think it's very important to really strike a balance, because sometimes when you use supervisory resources to go through product approvals, you sometimes then create this restriction. And I want to believe, as you are reviewing these products, you have a set you have set parameters of what you're expecting. So by doing so, you then start restricting or stifling innovation. So I was really torn, but from my jurisdiction, yes, we always want to review these for simple reasons. Consumer protection is paramount. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Great input. Can we have some from the two? Yes, I see two hands. I hope they will talk on the no side because we don't have a lot of time. Let's
Natasha.
have some. Yeah.
Natasha, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Though I'm also from Zambia, and my other two colleagues are also from Zambia. But what I will say is, I think I will lean on the yes, even though we have to apply the law of proportionality as we review these policy wordings. So that's a key principle we need to apply. But I will say yes, because we're looking at a vulnerable group and we are trying to build trust in this segment. So it is our duty for consumer protection to look at the policy wording but apply the law of proportionality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's useful. Can we have some input from the no voters?
Yes, Titus, please go ahead. If you are a no voter.
No, I was not a no voter, but I'll just share what I've experienced before, a school of thought on this matter, which led to the popular, is it a maxim of saying foul and use? Because the understanding was that if you as a supervisor, you approve, then you are part of, if things go wrong for the policyholders, you are also share the liability or blame. And so therefore, it is good for the regulator to detach himself from the terms and conditions. Therefore, he can't share in the blame, and then he can play the role of the referee should there be a complaint referred to the supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Titus did indicate that you're not a no voter. So if you could have a say from at least one no voter.
Yes, Kofi, I'm the no voter.
Great.
Because you know, this question is not clear for me. Are you asking this question for a priori approval or posteriori approval? What is it in English? Do you want approval before the products are launched, or do you agree that products can be launched and then afterwards the supervisor can can undertake an audit of whatever is necessary? So I voted no, assuming that this question is related to product approvals before launching a product.
Okay. I think there are two ways. So so there is one that is pre-approval, and for a number of jurisdictions, there's the requirement for pre-approval, and in that case, the supervisory authority, the product has to be submitted to the authority, and the authority must review and give an approval, express approval, before it is sold. Issues have been raised about that. Really, those who are against this say that the approving the product is the responsibility of the board of the company. They are supposed to see to it that the product meets appropriate requirements and that it is fair to the consumer. And if anything goes wrong with the product, they are held responsible for it. And so the actuarial sign-offs and everything should be approved by the board of the company before the product is issued. We do, however, know that especially in emerging countries where expertise and resources are not that enough. Companies, boards may not either have the expertise or the ability to be able to do this kind of review and file. And so, as Titus did indicate, in some jurisdiction it is file and use. Usually the practice is that the product is filed with the supervisory authority, and if after a certain time period the supervisory authority doesn't raise any objection, the company goes ahead and starts selling. However, if at any time the supervisor raises a serious issue, the insurance company would then be required to take the time to review the issue raised by the supervisory authority and get a resolution to it. So looking at the question that was asked, really, the question was that reviewing and approving new policy wording, is it a good use? Well, reviewing, yes, we know that reviewing is a good thing. That's I think that is the import of Renata's question. So is it pre or it could be done sometime after? But a review certainly will be a good thing, especially because consumers may not be as aware and have the ability to review these things as possible. Even where you have educated consumers, sometimes they take a lot of things for granted. You can count barely how many people actually read their policy document and get to understand all the terms and conditions clearly and understand the implications of those. And so that balance has to be stricken. And in most jurisdictions where some solution, this has been a concern, the file and use has been applied. In that case, yes, the product is filed and used, but then if the regulator raises an issue, that issue has to be resolved. It doesn't necessarily call for an express approval from the regulator. That gives the company and its board the sense of the responsibility that they have to bear for the product, and give still the consumer that room of some review, some protection that the product, the wording, the pricing is fair and appropriate. So that will be it. So in the case of trial, and this is just a discussion, we will continue, and we don't have a lot of time, so let's continue. I think we'll have some discussions at the end. So we will be going into the groups as we did last Monday, and in the group we have all the information on this product, which is going to be sold by Friendly Life through TrialTel. Our task here is to raise concerns that you may have with regard to the family security plan, which the company has applied for TIA's approval for. So raise as many concerns as possible, and you should explain why each of your points represent a concern from the perspective of TIA. So you work for the TIA, the assumption is that you work for the regulatory authority. So what are your concerns, and why is it a concern to you? That it should be the main issue that will be. So Monica, I don't know whether we can have 30 minutes, considering we can. Okay.
No, I was just suggesting that maybe we could take 15 to 20 minutes for the discussions.
Right.
And like the last time, each group would need to designate a note taker who would double up as the presenter and reporting back to the wider group. Sorry, Kofi, please go ahead.
Yes, I mean, those are exactly the things I was going to say. So just like we did the last time, we will break into the breakout rooms, Each group, please elect a leader to lead the discussion and a note taker to also take down the note and come back and do the presentation. Raise your concerns and why they are concerns, and as the requirement is, explain the nature of concern each to the head of the TIA, which is Dr. Said, and address it from that perspective, because from different stakeholders' perspective, the concerns could be different. So pay attention to that. We are raising the concerns from the TIA's perspective. So on that note, I'll leave the whatever for Monica, if there are any housekeeping rules for the breakout rooms before we go into the breakout rooms.
Kofi, I would say it's just that let's try and keep our cameras on so that we all see each other and just actively engaged with each other. It's easier when the cameras are on, and really hard if you're speaking to just like initials like CP. It's a little bit difficult. So let's just try and keep our cameras on and engage. And please do take the notes, and you can show it on the screen when you come back when you're doing your plenary, so that it's easier for everybody to absorb what you've noted. Kindly. So Nuria will just be sending us to the groups right now. Nuria.
Okay. Room members, but there were some technical challenges. I'm sure was with me, but whatever it is, I'm sure.
Glad to have you back. Please take over.
Yeah, glad to be back. I'm sure we have some groups. So we have 4 groups, I suppose. So and why they are of concern from the perspective of the TIA. So let's start from group 1.
The designated presenter from group 1.
I'm not sure which group I was, but I was
Please go ahead.
Group where Titus was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where Titus and Manoj was, that's group 1.
Okay.
Please kick it off. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So as a group, some of the concerns that we found out was something that has to do with barriers and basically accessibility of this product. The feeling around this product is that the policy might have barriers that hinder inclusive insurance features. And one of them is the fact that you need to have a mobile phone, and the feeling around it is that it must be a smartphone and not a feature phone, of which you could find that the low-income people might struggle with. But also there is some onerous requirements when it comes to onboarding, and that is like requiring certificates and so on and so forth. So those could have an impact, a negative impact on onboarding the population that needs to have this microinsurance product. And then in terms of gender, there was nothing specific to speak to the underserved or women and such population. So if it's a microinsurance product, would have expected some features around that. In terms of premium rating, the case study does have some definition around what would be a microinsurance product, and it's something that has premium less than 2 tellers. That's the currency. But for this one, it's around 5, so it might be a bit too high for the intended population. And we also feel that much as it is 5, it seemingly has not been underwritten appropriately, because it's 0.5 across all the products. So then you get the impression that there must have been some underwriting issue around whether this is indeed going to be a sustainable product. It will be adequate enough to pay out claims that will be coming through. In terms of claims processing, there is an aspect of the telecom being involved, and you would expect some confusion with the population, especially that a large part of it is in the rurals and they are not as financially savvy. And so they might think the telecom is actually the underwriter and kind of forget who the underwriter is. Why? Because the interface is largely with this telecom. So there might be issues around who to complain to, how to claim, and so on. And also just that confusion could create some mistrust around the product. There was also...
Let's move to the under other groups.
Great.
Let's
Thank
move
you.
to the another group and see what they have. Thank you. That's very comprehensive. Can we move to... That's
this
great.
was group
Thanks.
2, Kofi.
Oh, group 2. Oh, okay. Okay.
I think I was in group 1.
Group that's willing. Yeah.
I think I was in group 1.
Great.
We noted some points here. I just want to try and, or I can just read what I typed without having to share.
Yes, you can mention it out, but if it's possible to share your screen, you can also share it so that everybody can see it.
Okay, let me try to share.
Monica, is it possible for him to share his screen?
Yes, there's just that arrow showing share, and you can just click on that and then you share the relevant screen. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you're able to see.
Yes, I can see.
Yes.
Okay, so the quick points we put together were these ones you can see here. Number one, you will note that the distribution of the product will be through sending text messages to clients of the mobile network operator. Okay, now we think that will make the product not voluntary enough. It should be a situation where those who want to buy insurance, they should be the ones to go and dial a certain number to look for that product and initiate the process themselves, not where something is pushed to them via text messages. Then we're also thinking the onboarding part, again, the insurer will not be able to know whether the main member is adding the true family members, to say the true family members. To be very difficult for them to know. Then also it's not clear how the insurer will ensure that there's proper data protection. You know, when people are giving their details to the mobile network operator, they are giving those details for the purposes of getting mobile services. But now, if you start now wanting to use those services, I mean, those details for insurance purposes, we need proper guidance on how we ensure that there's still data protection even after wanting to use the details for insurance purposes. So there's a data protection concern which is not, I think, addressed adequately there. Then again, there will be automatic deductions every month. We think the product would run better if every month the policyholder has to initiate that now they want to pay premiums on their own, not where deductions are just happening without them declaring interest. That again can bring problems where if someone, for example, wanted to cancel the product or wanted to stop the policy, it would be very difficult. And until they cancel, they actually stop the policy, it means deductions can just continue over and over, and even when they are no longer interested in the product or in the policy. Then again, at the time of claiming, we think anyone who has the phone in their hands can actually initiate a claim, even if they are not even the insured person. So that's kind of a problem again. Then also the five something premium, is it $5 whatever that currency
Yes.
is? The $5 premium, which will be happening every month, with the commission of 1%, we see that 20% commission to be a bit too high for a micro insurance product. It is unnecessary, making the product expensive. Then also, when someone wants to claim, you want them, they are a micro insurance policy holder, you want them to submit death certificates, birth certificates, and all those things. I think those will make the process a bit too cumbersome for claimants to make. I think it should have been made a bit more light, since it's this kind of product. Some of the policy holders here might not even have those documents which you are demanding for. So in a way, you are trying to exclude some people by demanding for such things. Yeah,
Great.
so these were the points we put up together.
Thank you. That is very, very great, very comprehensive. Can we go to group 3? Group 3, please.
Yeah. Yes, afternoon, colleagues. I think the previous speaker has mentioned a lot of the points, but I'll just add here that we know that the product relies heavily on the internet, while we also know that Chinaland has internet issues. Hence, it will be very difficult for citizens to access the product. We also note that the statements will be sent via SMS. We also noted the data protection concerns, and we, to add, we also think that the regulator may not even have the technical capacity to assess the product in the first place. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. A very solid point also. Let's go to the last group. Any issues?
Hello, Kofi. I wish to call upon Jonathan Carey, who was in our group, to brief you on our concerns.
Thank you.
Good day, everyone. We had a lot of the same concerns as the other groups. But one of our concerns was that it seems to be turning a profit on the vulnerable. In terms of the cost is the $5 cost that doesn't fit into the range of micro insurance. And for inclusive, a good practice is to be less, the ratio for 60%. They want to be 40%. So that means that they're really trying to turn a good profit. We had an issue too with the claims process. You have to physically go into a location to put in your claim. You can't you enroll on the mobile device. However, you have to go in person to put in a claim. We didn't think that was fair either. Because what if you physically can't make it to put in a claim? That's what happens there. And in terms of the commission, 20% of the commission goes to the telecom company, the cell phone company. And like someone else mentioned, that was a good point. Another group that, the persons might get confused and think that the telecom company is actually the underwriter. That was a really good point as well. We do know that you also have to top up $20 first before you can be eligible to apply. That was a good one. Anything else I'm missing, Renata?
Well, with respect to the product is looking at subscribers who are married and who have children.
Correct.
So it may chill off single people or people without, or couples without children. Then with respect of the claims declaration, so in the document was stated that they need to submit a marriage certificate and a birth certificate. Well, of course, I don't know, about the public administration in Traraland, but it looks quite strange to me that seasonal workers will have all those documents available. So that's a little bit too much for a micro insurance product. Then Also, Jonathan, you mentioned a point with respect of dispute. So there is nothing in the documents telling us how the clients should go along if they have a problem with the insurance company. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone is ringing at the door. I have to go to open the door. 1 moment.
Okay. I think that those are very great input from all the groups. And thank you for the discussions and all the issues that you have raised. These are concerns. So let's run through a few that I also have here, and then discussions that we could have. So the other issue is that the telco will be selecting the families based on the telco's estimate of the extent to which the selected customer is likely to increase telco revenue. Okay, that is a challenge. Is to use to increase output, that's the average revenue per user, and sometimes that could be able to increase telco revenue. And so that is the issue that we've already talked about, the poor internet coverage. So we are told that about 80% of the population of Trawaland live in the rural areas, and that is where the mobile phone coverage is really bad. So that is going to be a major challenge for that. Renata has talked about the documentation to prove eligibility issues, and then the documentation to prove claims. And this is could be a very major issue where claimants are required to bring some proof from hospitals where they as evidence. This could be extremely difficult to get, either because of the processes or because of demands from the hospital. And when this happens, you would see that even though a lot of people actually fall ill and are admitted, they are unable to obtain the needed document to file their claims. So the claim ratio may seem very low. The incidence ratio may seem very low, but in actual fact, it's because they are unable to obtain what is needed to file the claim. And so that is another thing that needs to be clearly and again, the consumers to be educated on what they need to do to be able to file. That is really very important. Another important challenge is the policy document. You see the message, an SMS is sent, the potential customer responds, and in the process, we are not really sure how the policy document is issued. Will it be on the Friendly Lives website? Will it be on Tralatel's website? How are they going to provide the document? Because there is a requirement that the policy holders be provided with their policy document. And so that is an issue that needs to be clarified. Then there's the issue of lapsing of policy. So the document said that if it is time to deduct the premium and there isn't enough money in the mobile wallet, credit, and if there isn't any, then the policy lapses. Is it possible to notify consumers or subscribers of the impending deduction of the premium so that they can replenish their wallet, top up their account, and prepare for this? And even when this has been done and the policy is about to lapse, is it possible for them to be notified before the lapse so that if there's any step they can take to save the policy, they can do so. So that is another issue you may want to go through. Now, we see that in reading the Trareland case, there is micro insurance guidelines that have been issued to govern the issue of micro insurance. Now, looking at the product, its profile and all the information, where are the gaps? Are the product meeting the guidelines? Are there any areas of concern? One group raised the issue about the price. So the microinsurance guidelines said that the price is $2 or less, and we see the price here is $5 per month. So how do we deal with these issues? And one of the documents, I think the actuarial document, was saying that the guidelines, the microinsurance guidelines, are out of date, but that is the guideline that is enforced at the time. So how do we deal with that issue? That's something for the TIA to either update or is a contingency plan. Now, you know that this is a collaboration between an insurance company and a mobile network organization. Now, if this agreement, if these parties disagree at some point and want to call it off, what happens? How do we secure the interest of the policyholders? The document said that the arrangement can be terminated by either side at their absolute discretion. That is a bit dangerous, especially for the policyholders. Is it possible for the TIA to be notified of the disagreement and a plan provided to TIA on how the separation is going to be done in such a way that the interest of the policyholders will be protected? Is it possible for arrangement to be put in place to transfer the policies in force to other operators who are willing to carry this on? So there's the need for a contingency plan between Trareland and the insurance company, so that if at any point they disagree, they decide to discontinue with the collaboration, with the partnership, the interest of the policyholders will not be jeopardized. Remember, these are mainly vulnerable people, and it is important to ensure that there are plans in place to protect and secure their interest at all times. So these are the few that I would like to add. I'll stop here if there are any questions, any issues, before I hand it over back to Monica. Yes, Renata, please go ahead.
Yes, hello, Kofi. I'm putting on my hat of actuary, if you allow me so. So I was looking at the actual. Okay. I was looking at the actual memorandum, and actually, what I missed there is the the explanation of the pure premium, of the risk premium. This comes out of the blue. It's not mentioned in the actual memorandum. We have no idea how the actuary has defined a pure premium. Moreover, then you can also find in the actual memorandum that there is a 30% margin. Well, that's it's okay. We can have a margin, but 30% is quite a lot. We usually restrict up to 20% and only for a few years. So, there also you see that they are really creaming the poor customers. And then with respect of the loss ratio should be at least 60%, which means 60% of the gross premium should be the risk premium. So the remaining 40% can be, shared between the insurance company, the underwriter, and the telecom. So I would not use the terminology of commission. Why? The telecom company is doing the servicing for the insurance company. So it's normal that they are getting paid for it. And moreover, you can read in the document somewhere that telecom is going to delegate the administration to an external service provider. So there you go. This means that the underwriter is doing very little in the administration of the policy. So therefore, I would say that if you have a gross premium of 100, 60 would be good for the risk premium, including of course the margin. 5 would be good for the underwriter because the underwriter is not doing a lot, and 35 could go to the telecom company and the external service provider because they are doing all the work. So this is how I would look at this 20% commission. I don't, I would not like, I don't like the terminology of commission because it's not really commission, it's servicing fee.
Great. And that is an important issue, especially when it comes to the mobile insurance product, because the parties, the stakeholders involved, do more than an ordinary intermediary. So that is an important observation to make. Any more discussions, comments, questions? A question? The house is quiet.
Been a long day.
Okay. So if there aren't any more questions, then I'll hand over to Monica at the stage, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Kofi. I don't know, Manoj, we had last session, but this was an optional one afterwards. But maybe I can just point out to a few important things before we leave. You remember we have the action plans, and we had sent out feedback. And so we were hoping that you'd look at the feedback and send us back your final PowerPoint presentations. So the date for the sending us back the maybe reviewed action plans would be tomorrow, but I would like to push this to give you more time. I know we've had really full, it's been busy. We could have this ready by maybe Monday evening, because I think there are just few comments that you can work on, so that we have your presentations ready by Tuesday, and then you can make these presentations on Thursday. Remember, in the, Thursday, the last part of the session, we'll be having the presentations from the different jurisdictions. So I just wanted you to remember this, and then we will also share this info on email, and you'd have to decide. You're welcome, Swama. We'd have to decide from your teams who's going to present these action plans. So please, let's just have a look at that. So now, kindly, Nure, if you could put the evaluation in the chat. Quickly, if you could just do this evaluation. This time around, it will work. I have confirmed. Sorry for Monday. I hope so. So please, it's just 4 or 5 questions. If you could just do this in the next 2 minutes before we get to the other bit, that would be really good for us and also for the Toronto Centre. Feedback is always really important to us. So I'd give 2 minutes. In those 2 minutes, Manoj, I don't know, do you think everybody is too tired for an optional networking session? Could we just pose our questions and we continue these discussions on our community platform? I also want to remind us we have a community platform. So what we are going to do, Manoj, let's pose the questions on the platform and let us discuss this on the platform. So join our community. Let's discuss these questions. They're very interesting questions. So as a surprise, let's not have it here. We'll have it there so that everybody goes to the community. And you have the whole weekend, and we have Kofi, we have Manoj, we have Harry, all of us are on the platform, Renata, Titus, to have these discussions with you, share what's happening in the different jurisdictions, somewhere where we can just exchange, at a level where we are not stressed and we are free and we have the time. Because right now I know we are very, very tired, and I would also like for us to stop here. Manoj, do you agree?
No, that's fair enough. We already had very
Yeah.
rich session today. So I see
Yes,
Harry's
Harry.
hand is up. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Manoj and Kofi and Rata and everybody. Yes, I think we almost reaching next week will be the final week. So everybody will start wrapping up their the action plan. We have provided feedback, what is required. Some of you, well, we understand some of you have a lot of good ideas. We don't say it's bad that you write so much, but sometimes we wanted to keep it simple, understand the basic fundamental, put the building blocks, like, try to keep it, be coherent, consistent, like, and also I think I would like to point out that there is a action planning guide. It is uploaded on the Connect on the platform for A2I Connect. So I think you should read it as well while you're preparing for using your slide. Please, we have noticed a lot of people, participants answering in different formats, which are very difficult to mark. That's why we have returned their works. So some of them have come back again with a proper format. So we appreciate that you provide it in the desired format. Don't choose and redesign something that A2I had designed. There's no need for that. You just focus on provide it in a consistent manner. And we hope that the advice is you read the action plan guide, something that may have missed out. We can give you ideas. We have provided you our comments. So I think overall you have a good thinking process at your end. You know your stuff. So from your experience what is required. It's just sometimes we can't fit everything, but at least be consistent, simple. Some participants have provided very simple one-two line problem goal statement, very easy to understand, very easy to put to elaborate, to work on. So yes, you can have a lot of good idea, but be mindful we need to read a lot as well while we're marking them. So it can be tiring, but we appreciate that you do a lot of work, and also most importantly that you understand the basic fundamentals of action planning. So this is something that you're going to use a lot when you go back in your work and in future work as well. So it is a tool to be used, not to be tossed away. That's why I advise you to read the guide, so you can fine-tune your work for the next week presentation. So that's from me, Monica. So thank you, everybody, and yes, we hope to see a lot of very engaging discussions. So we look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I've seen a feedback from Findokule. I hope I pronounced your name well, but next time we will add more time to the rooms. We will try and have more time for the discussions in the breakout rooms. I think that's a really important feedback there. Thank you. Renata, anything?
No, thank you very much, Monica. I wish to thank everyone who contributed today to this fantastic session, and I'm looking forward to our next session. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'd like just to remind us to continue with the self-paced modules. Let's read our case studies so that we have much better discussions during the breakout sessions. I think that's really important because I feel that is where we get to take all the concepts and make them really practical and really have that deeper understanding. So let's make sure we go through the case studies and let's make sure we finalize the self-paced modules. Titus, I can see you. Hand is raised.
Oh, okay. No, Monica, yes, you are spot on. The discussions that we had today in breakout rooms were more lively. It showed clear evidence that people had time to read the case studies before the session compared to the previous one. So there are no shortcuts, colleagues and friends. Let's reserve more time in between the live sessions to look at the material, the self-paced material, and the live sessions becomes more engaging and lively. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Titus,
you,
for that
Titus.
feedback.
But that was unlike my breakout room. It was really a struggle to get members to engage in the discussion. So I think the members in my group today, let's do some reading. Let's really read the cases and the materials and prepare. The learning comes from the engagement, from the discussions. Listening to the presentation is good, but you do better, you do more from engaging in the discussion and asking more questions. So please, let's spend some time and prepare so we can make this much more useful for the time that we spend here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kofi. I think it's always good to get feedback in both ways, right? So great. Well noted. So I guess if we've already done the survey, if Renata, you have one thing or something else, or that was your previous hand raised?
Oh, I didn't know. No, I'm sorry. No,
So, okay.
No, as you know, I'm translating a lot into French for our dear participants of CIMA. And so, this is what I was doing.
Okay, great. So if there's no other issue, I'd like to say thank you very much to all our presenters, and thank you very, very much to all our participants today. This was a really lovely session that we had today. So I'd really like to wish you all a good, if it's afternoon, if it's evening, please do have a great day ahead, and see you on Tuesday. Great.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. But next week, see